This is the best feature of Microsoft Flight Simulator, hands down. And in this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. So if you're interested, stick around, stay tuned, after a quick word from VR Wave. A huge shout out to VR Wave for sponsoring and supporting this channel. They do produce the best lens inserts that I've come across for a full range of VR headsets that include HTC, Pimax, which you're looking at right now, as well as the Quest, Valve, PSVR 2, you get the idea. And the great thing about lens inserts is they help keep your lenses free from scratches, but also they do account for astigmatism if you're nearsighted or farsighted. And with blue light filters, they also help combat motion sickness and insomnia. So make sure to check out my 5% discount in the description below. And this is it, dynamic weather. Forget your photogrammetry, which is amazing, and the worldwide scale of ortho imagery. This is something that I don't think people actually realise is a huge achievement. No other flight simulator has made a dynamic weather engine as impressive as this. These particular showers and the way they move across the sky is something we've got used to over the years, but no other flight sim can even come close. And that's because Asobo is keeping their weather engine very closely guarded. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting a bit fed up of some of the whinging and moaning about this sim. Because at the end of the day, if you just showed me this footage even 10 years ago, I wouldn't have believed it was possible. I think some of the reasons why people don't really appreciate the sheer achievement here from Asobo is perhaps they're coming into this flight simulator hobby for the last 5 or 6 years. But what you're looking at right now is Flight Unlimited 3 by Looking Glass Studios. This was released in 1999, and one of the huge deals of this particular flight sim was its dynamic weather systems. It was a first of its kind, not to mention it had the Beechjet 400A, which was absolutely the most realistic business jet that you could experience on a desktop flight simulator. It even included compression stalls when in very heavy turbulence. It was an absolute milestone for flight simulator fans, and I was so sad to see that Looking Glass Studios close the doors before we could see a successor, because to me this sim really set the stage for what was to come next. But it did take about 27 years which is now MSFS 2024, which in my view is the modern day Flight Unlimited 3. And here we are taking off in the Carenado Premiere into a heavy layer of cloud, and I still can't believe we can experience this level of immersion today. So you could argue, of course, that VR is the best feature of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and yes, definitely, but it's no good unless you can feel like you're in the world. Same with the scenery. It's all very well having ortho imagery, but unless you've got something that feels real to fly through, then it all becomes just a tech demo. But when flying through these clouds, it really is just something that I have never got bored of ever since I first did my first very live stream of MSFS 2020. Is it perfect? Of course not. And I do feel that we spend too much time looking at what could be improved, looking at the issues, than really appreciating what we have right now in front of us. It's a monumental shift in the flight simulation space, and I can't believe that I'm even showing you this level of fidelity in VR. It looks even better, of course, inside the headset, but I still think it looks pretty damn good. What do you think? I do think many of you would be surprised with how in-depth the weather system actually is. It's not just a series of scripts, but it is a living and breathing fluid dynamic system with more realistic air behaviour, including natural turbulences, persistent wake turbulence, and very accurate terrain induced updrafts, downdrafts, and even thermals, something that we could only dream about just a few short years ago. In terms of the atmospheric realism, well, the enhanced simulation of humidity, dew point effects, visibility, and beautiful dynamic sky colouring really makes every single flight different, and that's another thing that makes flight simulation so special to me. It's because the weather is different every single time you fly. Very often I will do the same routes day in day out, but every flight is different, just like it is in the real world because of the weather. Then we've got things like icing effects, not just on the aircraft itself, which again was a world first when it came to 2020. Yes, you could argue other sims did it first, but I'm talking real-time icing effects that build up based upon the fluid nature of the weather, not something that is scripted in and per aircraft. It happens to all of the aircraft in the sim, and very naturally and organically. But the physical effects of the icing on the aircraft that can affect the performance and really get you into a spot of bother if you don't keep on top of it. But here's the big one for me. The live weather is probably the most impressive of all of the features when it comes to the weather. I don't think, even if you spent days trying to replicate some of these patterns in real life, you won't be able to get the real atmosphere and feel of live weather. I don't even think a Sobo can do it themselves because the amount of data points that go into the weather engine make it different every time. A great example is this is my third flight today out of Cardiff, and the turbulence I was experiencing on approach here was completely new and caught me off guard. I love that about this sim, but like I say, it's not perfect. I'm aware of this, folks, so you don't need to tell me in the comments that actually the weather's crap because it doesn't do this, doesn't do that. This really is a very complex thing to achieve with bits of computer code. And sometimes when I stop and think and look at what we can see here now in Scotland, this is just bits of computer code. But when I don my VR headset and get into my motion rig and experience turbulence, experience wind, all of these incredible atmospheric vistas over Scotland. I've been to Scotland many times in real life, and I'm very lucky to have even flown in Scotland. This is exactly what it looks like. With the rain beating down on the windshield, it is a very cozy place to be, and it's actually one of the reasons why I love flying, because it's a therapy to me personally. Now I'd love to know in the comments, what is your favourite feature about, well, flight simulation in general, and particularly with Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. I would love to know. But for me, it's always been about that dynamic weather. I've been a flight sim geek for many years now, and for a long time, all I really wanted was to experience proper live weather with moving frontal systems flying my favourite aircraft. Then VR came along and made that absolutely, completely a dream come true. Together with the atmospheric engine of MSFS 2020 and 2024 particularly, for me, it is absolutely something that I will always appreciate. Now, this is just a video I fancied making, okay? So, before the trolls start moaning in the comments, no, this is not sponsored by a Sobo. I have no affiliation with a Sobo at all. I just wanted to share my love and passion for flight simulation, because that's what this channel is all about. Thanks for watching, folks. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.